Oh, here we go. No respect. Is that what the 76ers are for the version of the 25-26 team where they are getting no respect heading into, as we get closer and closer, still a little bit of a distance, but closer and closer to the start of the season. But now we're getting win totals. We're getting, will they make the playoffs overall? We're getting a lot of different futures awards thrown out there here on July 30th. Are they being disrespected? Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Respected on this panel, Derek Bodner, Kyle Newbeck. I'm Devon Givens, president of basketball operations. Bree is here, and all
Depends
of
on
you
who you're asking.
in the chat. First off, we want to thank everybody and show you respect for hanging out with us last night. For all of you who could, for our very first film session here at the office. It was a great turnout. It was a fun time to talk some hoops with everybody and just to get together one more time in the summer with the community. We can't thank you enough for supporting the work that we do, showing out the way that you do, and making all this possible for all of us. So thank you again for hanging out with us last night. All of you, you know who you were. We really appreciate it. Also, we want to tell you, because of that, if you were unable to make it last night, because it was for only diehard members, we want to make sure that you take advantage of our deal right now, still ongoing, the training camp intro offer at $36, where you can sign up to become a diehard member right now. $36 at allphly.com, where you can get all the written content. Number one, for the Eagles, that's going on currently with Zach Bowe, Fran, and Les Bowen. The Sixers side with Derek and Kyle. Charlie with the Flyers, and the same with the trade deadline being tomorrow for Major League Baseball. Jim Salisbury has you covered at allphly.com, the only place to get that information from Jim Salisbury. So go sign up, allphly.com. Discord access, you get a free t-shirt as well, and you get exclusive access to sign up for these events like last night for us, and next Monday for the Q&A with the Flyers, as they have theirs upcoming diehard members only event. Sign up, $36. You will not be disappointed. All right, fellas, lady, and ladies in the chat, let's get to it, because I was looking at our partner here at Bet365, Derek, and the number that they have. First of all, I went back and looked at last year's, and I remember you were the only one that said under. It was 52.5. We said over, Kyle said under, 52.5 for the number. For the wins, the over-under.
I'll take my wins total on last year's predictions where I can get them.
The That's season for damn total sure. For the Philadelphia 76ers.
Do you have that Coach of the Year prediction graphic ready to go?
At 52.5 from last season. Folks, this season, the Philadelphia 76ers, according to Bet365, right now, for the over-under win total for the 25-26 campaign today is at 42.5, and it's at an even, Derek, minus 110.
Yeah.
Even. Minus 110 at 42.5. So they clearly have no idea with, of course.
And there are some other books where they're at 41.5. Generally, that's the range, though.
That's
somewhere
the range.
between
42.
41 to 40. Well, now between 41 and 43. So
43. There you go. So with that, Derek, since we were wrong last year, way wrong at 24 wins at the end of the year, is this the right around that right number that as we talk about this team as far as win totals, over-unders goes? Because before you answer that, we were just discussing of what would they look like with Tyrese Maxey and Paul George with the question that we got. If Embiid played 0 games, what would their win total look like with Tyrese Maxey and Paul George? And we were right around that 35, 38. Maybe they can sneak in to get to 40. 42.5. Do we know what team they're talking about to get to 42.5?
No. So like this feels like one of those things where it's like they're either going to be way wrong when they're like, it's either going to be way over that or it's going to be way under that. Although it does, like, I struggle to really define like what the upside is. Like if you got 55 games out of Joel, which feels like pie in the sky best case scenario, but if you got that, and let's say you got like 65 games out of Paul George, like what's the upper echelon of a win total? It still feels like that could end up being a 50-win team, but a lot of stuff has got to go right to get there. And the downside, I mean, we saw the downside. We don't have to relitigate that. We saw it in real time. It sucked. Although I think this year, like that would be, if you told me, I'll take the over on 24 wins, I'll go out on a limb. I would struggle to see that happening again. But you could convince me anywhere.
Famous last
from,
words, man. Justin.
I know. You could convince me anywhere from 30 to like 54 wins. So it feels like this is kind of like just going in the middle, which doesn't mean it's a likely outcome. Like there's probably a curve of likely outcomes, and it probably is at the start of that range and at the end of that range. I don't like, I guess if you're saying like maybe you get 40 games out of Joel and like 60 games out of Paul and like reasonable play from the young kids, maybe 40 wins is like what you're going to get. But there's just so many different iterations of this team. It feels like we're covering a team in the multiverse. I don't know which one we're going to end up actually watching. I have no idea.
No, and I think that's exactly it, right? Is that a line where essentially you're at 500, right? All these, no matter what book you're at, they're saying you're either at 500, right below, or right above in terms of setting the lines. That's all these odds makers saying, we don't know what the hell to do with you, right? Like that's the underlying message. And I think that's a fair one because there are so many variables. Before we even get to the season, there's now already been a Paul George injury and procedure. They're going to dance around whether it's surgery, procedure, or whatever terminology you want to use and PR speak it through. Paul George may not be ready for camp. Joel Embiid, we have no idea what his state will be by the time they arrive in camp and preseason and whatnot. And even last year when we were getting some more encouraging messaging, it ends up like, oh, well, he hasn't played yet, but everything's on track and he's on the ramp and he's doing this and he's doing that. And then he misses the start of the year. And so even if you say last year was a total disaster, and it was, and everything went wrong, and it did, you still aren't exactly getting like super encouraging health signs, right? Like maybe from your young guys, right? Like Jared McCain, it seems like everything is, as far as we know, chugging along slowly and steadily there. But everywhere else, it's just question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. You have an open position at power forward that nobody really knows who's going to fill that role on a full-time or close to full-time basis. You got to sort through all the guard minutes. Like, I completely understand why a sports book would say, I don't know what to do with these guys. You figure it out. Because this will also, the other thing that people, I think, hyper focus on the side of them setting the lines where it's like, this is what they think they'll win. It's also, this is how they'll try to get people to bet the most.
100%.
Right? And so this is a number that for this team, if you're a buyer on Joel Embiid, if you're a buyer on Paul George, all these guys, yeah, absolutely. You're like, that's disrespectful, right? We used the Rodney Dangerfield, no respect graphic on the show, which is a great job by Bree on that one.
Perfect photo by Bree.
But if you're someone who just thinks they're all going to be hurt again, you'll hammer the under. You'll say that's generous, right? I think they're going to win like 30 games or something like that. And so you get all the action that you want as a sports book. And we sit here and say, yeah, I get it. I pretty much agree with, I don't know what to do with this team.
And it is, I mean, it feels very much like they're trying to pick the spot where 50% bet over, 50% bet under, because you can't really try to.
And again, the odds are even minus 110. Yes.
But it is a situation because you've got so many injuries in the East. You've got so many weakened teams in the East. You've got so many teams who are going to be tanking for this draft class. You could convince me if you got 60 games out of Joe and 70 out of Paul George, I could say some pretty ridiculous stuff on this show. I could be convinced of some absolutely ridiculous win totals, but we all watched last year. It's just, you can't have gone through that and been like, yeah, I'm gonna bank on them playing that many games. You just can't.
Real quick, you mentioned yesterday when we were talking briefly about Tyrese Maxey, and he was in Paris, I think it was, for one of the
Paris Fashion
Week. I saw something yesterday with Paul George. I think he was also out there, and when he was out there, they showed a full-body video of he and his wife standing somewhere talking, waiting to get in somewhere, and he had this knee brace on. He had shorts on, and he was dressed up. It's Paris Week. He looks, he's dapper and all. And then it was the brace that's on his leg, so it just made me think of that because people forgot, as someone said, damn, Kyle forgot about the fact that he's hurt and we have to wait and find out. But to the point of the win total, I agree that they set this one right. where they put it. It's basically the unknown. They're right in the middle. They're either going to be good or they're not. They're either going to make the playoffs or they're not. They're going to be a playoff team or play-in team or they're not. And that 42 or 41 and a half is right around the exact number it should be. Marcus Blackstock saying, I think 47 is a good baseline when he put it out there. I can't see, somebody else had, I remember they had him at like 50 is a good number as well, as a sign of a great team and all that stuff. Well, normally we put them at a baseline of 50 when you feel like they're healthy and they're going in. And even last season with that 52 and a half number, we said over the 52 and a half. Kyle said under, but he didn't say, well, that doesn't mean they're going to
I wasn't saying, hey, they're going to win 24 games.
Right, or even the 50 games. It was, but that's where they're normally supposed to be. But if I was to sit here and I was to take the bait right now from Vegas and bet 365, I would say I would go over 42 and a half. You mentioned 41. I might go over simply because if we were to say that it was George and Maxey and we can get to 34, 38, that was that number that we had somewhere in that range. But if we are going to get a decent amount of 40 games from Joel or 50 from Joel plus them and everything else that you get from the team, and I include what the Eastern Conference is right now, I think that they should be able to win over that 42 and a half threshold. It might be 43, but it's over that 42 and a half. So bet 365, you can count on me jumping in on this one. You pulled me in and reeled me in on this one because I would bite and take the over on that just because I think that the Eastern Conference for where they are and the wins are available in the East. It's just a matter of how many are you able to also steal from the Western Conference to hit that total today on July 30th.
Yeah, it's real easy to forget how great of a floor raiser Joel Embiid was. Like, he would win 50 games, his first healthy season in the league, playing with slop. Like, Bellinelli and Jared Bayless and Dario Saric were like some of your more important players. That team won 52 games, and that was Ben Simmons as a rookie. So even his other good players weren't really experienced. He is an instant 50-win, player. And so like when we took the over on 52 last year, it didn't seem like we were going on that far of a limb. Whoops. So yes, again, if you could tell me that Joel Embiid was back for any reasonable time, would I take the over? I would hit that over so quickly it wouldn't even be funny. But I'm shell shocked. I would probably still, if you were like, Derek, you have to bet, I'd probably put the money on the over because I don't think you need that much out of Joel Embiid.
I also just don't want to live in a world where I'm betting unders on 41 or 42, right? Like that's just
like 0 games out of Joel. If everyone else is relatively healthy, I think you could approach high 30s. I'm not going to say comfortably, but it wouldn't be shocking at all. So even if you get a minimal contribution from Joel Embiid, I think you can get over 42 wins. It's just, I don't know. I'm scared.
Here's the thing. Like, what does minimal contribution look like?
Better than what he did in January.
We have no idea. Like the games played has cratered over the last 2 years. His effectiveness last year was through the floor. Paul George now just, what the hell are they going to get out of him? And, they can be a much better watch than last year without being materially much better, right? Because they have a bunch of question marks. One of the guys who, in theory, is supposed to be one of the most important guys on the team has not signed a contract it's July 30th as we record this podcast. Presumably, nothing's going to get done there for a while. And so who knows where his head's going to be at coming into the year. There are just so many variables out there. Also, if they, for whatever reason, injuries, they don't have the right guys, mutiny for God knows what reason. If they start really slow, and then there's a potential like, hey, ownership is coming in and Nick Nurse has to go, right? Like this just can't stand. We're not doing another year of. Then it's like, well, how do you judge from here today with some uncertainty with how much security everybody has? They have not generally been, they haven't really at all been a team that's like, we're firing people mid-season, right? It's always been, you get the year, we go in and I have respect for that, but I think this is a little bit unique because of how bad last year was. And I think how much attention is already on Daryl and Nick Nurse going into the year. So if they start slow, what happens? And if anyone loses their job, is that a catalyst, right? Like sometimes it's just as simple as somebody new is there and guys play a little harder and things are a little different. And then other times you look around and it's like, oh, that is still the same team on the floor. And so there are a million things that here in late July, we just can't predict, right? The biggest of which is what the hell or who the hell is Joel Embiid at this point in this stage of his career.
All right, so Bree did post on the show. She posted a poll. The Sixers win total at 42.5, just very simple. Are you going with an over or an under? While you're hanging out with us and you hit the like button, you tell some others to subscribe, and you also, if you haven't, take part in this poll and let us know what you think. By the end of the show, we'll read the numbers of where you are. Right now, we're only at 30. There are way more of you in there, so let's get this one going. Place a vote of will the Sixers win more or less than the 42.5 at the poll that Bree has posted here on the show. When we come back, we will get into a little bit more, not just the win total, but will they make the playoffs? Will they be the 8th seed? Will they be the 7th seed? We'll give you some of those odds, and we'll talk some of that through. We'll get to a few things else as we go along on this show on Wednesday.
A lot of news coming out today. Not all of it good.
Should we be talking about Bet365 today? But they are one of our partners, so we are discussing it with the win totals right here on this Wednesday. It's July 30th, everybody, on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics.
Well, guys, just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Tay can help you get it. Empire Tay has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Because we've all been to some of those big box stores, and while they might have a flooring department, the person that actually helps you with flooring may have been doing sinks yesterday and could be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. Empire Tay lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home, so you pick the flooring and the right colors for your space so you can see how it looks with your furniture and in your house. You get precise measurements taken and have all of your questions answered, so there are no surprises. With Empire Tay, you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. PHLY listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. You heard that right, a $350 discount with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHLY for full details.
All right, so I walked into my garage yesterday and it felt like a sauna.
I got to tell you, Devon, this Philadelphia Heat, especially coming off a cool period, no joke.
All right, so here's what I did. I got like 10 bags of ice, and I made myself an ice bath to stay cool instead of turning on the AC.
But why wouldn't you just turn on your air conditioning?
Well, I was trying to be energy efficient. Go green, go birds, right? And a little power dribble. Make sure I stay away from it.
Yeah, but, instead of icing yourself out, you could just check out Pico's energy saving rebates. They've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work, and they cut down your bills.
Hold on. So no more ice?
Unless it's an ice cold beer, Devon, we don't need to talk about ice.
That makes a lot of sense.
So everybody just head to pico.com/ways to save. They've got tips for everything. Heating, cooling, lighting, you name it. Don't resort to ice like my friend Devon over here. Boy, it definitely feels like a sauna out there today, Devon.
For like the third straight day, isn't it? It's been warm outside, hot like a sauna. Go make sure you take advantage of our good friends from Pico and turn your air on. It's okay. They'll make sure you're good. Turn your air on, stay cool, stay hydrated, all that. Welcome back to the show as we hang out with you here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman. As we're cool in here today. They're making sure we are cool in our work environment. All right, let's move on to another category here. So 42.5, courtesy of Bet365. So guys and gals, of course, also in the chat. And Bree, let's go to just simply make the playoffs. And right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are at currently minus 225, Kyle, to make the playoffs.
Which says as much about the Eastern Conference as anything else, right?
Exactly.
Because this is just, I mean, we've gone through the list, right? Boston, very clearly retooling. Indiana, retooling, right? Miles Turner leaves, Halliburton's out for the year. So that's two teams that are firm. Hey, those are teams competing for real seeding, just out of the picture. So then you have the Bucks, right? They still have Giannis, and he has a decent supporting cast, but
Kyle Kuzma is basically your 2 or your 3.
And I like Miles Turner, and I think he fits well with Giannis, but there's the guard play there, leaves a little something to be desired. Cleveland we expect to be good. The Knicks we expect to be good. Detroit, I think I would expect to be good. After that, it's a lot of question marks, right? Like,
is there a surprise team?
Orlando could be a team that makes the jump we were maybe thinking of last year. They get Desmond Bane. They make some smart additions in the draft. Just another year of development for Franz and Paolo. The Hawks certainly had an interesting offseason, and a lot of people think they can potentially get into that like 4 or 5 range. Then you're looking at the rest of it, and it's like, the Heat, the Bulls, Raptors, Then it's, the Hornets, the Nets, the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
So you really only have to, just to get into the play-in, right? And potentially win those games or win a game and get into the playoffs. You're talking about beating teams like Miami, Atlanta, Chicago, Toronto. That's not exactly a high bar to clear, even in a worst case scenario.
And typically to get like a top 6 seed to avoid the play-in, you would need to win about like 44 to 46 games, something in that range, to make just make the play-in like a top 10 seed, like high 30s usually does it.
Yeah.
And I think you can probably shift that down a win or two to where like getting the 6th seed, you might be able to do with like 42 wins this year. So it's almost like asking the exact same question of that over-under. Like, do you take the over or the under? Is almost, do you think they're going to make the playoffs? Because it's right around the same number. And my reaction to that is still, I don't know.
But that 225 does tell you that even with that 42.5 number that Bet365 gives us, the minus, though, of the 225, again, it's not minus 110 sitting there. It's a 225 where they feel like, even though with all the questions at 42.5, like you said, the 34, 38 that we discussed before, that's somewhere in that play-in range. But if they get to 42, that's most likely it's probably a 7 seed where you get an opportunity to, number one, just win that one game and get in. But if not, you have 2 chances if you lose that one to be playing for that 8th seed as well. So that number kind of tells me that, of course, while they have the questions of the actual win total and Derek's I don't know, but it's more of them leaning that they are a playoff team overall and they should be able to get in there in this Eastern Conference, as you just laid out. The only one, of course, that I would question is, because of how we've praised them, Atlanta has done a really good job. Mm-hmm. And they're probably somewhere in that mix, more in that, we can talk about this after the next break, but more in that this is the Sixers' range. They're going to be battling with them for seeding purposes once you get past New York and Cleveland and all those other teams there at the top. Detroit is in year number 2, so you expect them to still hang on with Jaden Ivey coming back. But
although, listen, we can make fun of how much of a dummy Malik Beasley has apparently been with his affairs outside of basketball, but he was a big part of why they got better last year, right? Was a really high-level 3-point shooter and a reliable spacer for Cade and Ivy when he was healthy.
Who would they replace him? Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson were the two.
And Duncan Robinson, good shooter, right? But will he replicate that there? We'll see. A lot of guys leave Miami and all of a sudden forget how to play basketball. So it's who the heck knows. I generally feel pretty good about Detroit as a mid-pack playoff team. But again, a lot of question marks. And if you just apply, obviously the Sixers have more reasons to be like, hey, with Paul George and Joel Embiid at the top of the totem pole, you're going to deal with injury question marks every year. But some of these teams will be less fortunate with injuries next season, right? Maybe the Knicks are more banged up. Maybe the Pistons are more banged up. Orlando might be on the side you regress toward positivity, right? Where they dealt with the exact same injury to their 2 best players, which is crazy that it happened that way. Because what was the injury that Paolo and Franz had?
It was in their knees, both of them. Was it like a?
It was a very specific one that I'm blanking on it.
Like a meniscus.
No, he had a torn right oblique.
Okay.
Both had torn oblique muscles, which is just it's pretty hard to do, right? So they might get fortunate, but that's the thing, right? Everyone goes in and you assume this is what happens if they're all healthy. Health is a question mark for all of them. It's just when do you roll snake eyes and when are you hot at the craps table? So Sixers are never hot at the craps table with injuries, to be clear.
They're like me in Vegas.
So they're just looking at, again, the playoff part, yes, but more going back a little bit to the 42.5. And you saying if you get a decent amount of Embiid, you should still win over that 38, certainly. And if Maxey is back to that form, Paul George gives whatever he gives, and it's not as bad as last season, what would have to really go wrong with all of them healthy enough, but they still don't do enough to, or they just get to that 42.5 type number? What would have gone wrong for them healthy enough, but still only getting to that 42.5, 43 wins?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's two explanations. One is that your core just isn't who they previously were.
Right.
Yeah,
Joel Embiid,
that's the big one.
The version that we saw in January. Paul George, another year older, three more knee injuries really over the last 12 months. A little less ability to get by his man, which we already saw was a problem last year. That would be the first explanation. And then the second would be that Nick Nurse just didn't do a good enough job. And, the offensive sets they put in.
Shout out to Andy Reid, by the way. How to do a better job.
He didn't seem like he really had a great plan for how to utilize Paul George in the very rare instances that they actually had all three of them together. But if you're not, if you're aging talent, if you're not able to make the most of it, then that would be a part of the explanation too. But I do mostly feel like if they are healthy, and by healthy, I'm including that Joel Embiid is still a good basketball player and not the version we saw, like I said, in January of last year. I'm pretty confident if they're healthy, they are going to end up exceeding that win total. But the healthy but not actually who they previously were would be the number one explanation.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important distinction is Joel could play 65 games, but if he's moving like Lurch from the Adams family, it doesn't matter how many games he plays, because at that point, the thing we saw last year that was also a problem with Joel is when he would come back and he'd play these small stretches of games, they're still playing through him as if he is either at or at least close to MVP level Joel, right? Get him the ball at the nail, run the pick and rolls, get him the ball, run the two-man stuff with Maxey, and you trust him, his talent, his decision-making, all that to be the focal point of your offense. And that was clearly a mistake based on where he was at physically, where he was at mentally. And so if he comes back and is physically able to be on the floor, but is, let's say 60% of what he has been previously, that's not going to be enough, right? I don't know what the threshold is of his, highest ceiling that he's got to be at percentage-wise. But if they haven't radically changed the offense, if they haven't made pretty seismic tweaks to how they want to play, and Joel is essentially what we saw last year, just available more, the end result is not going to change that much, right? Because I know it's limited sample. I know that they needed more time together and this and that, but the numbers with Maxey, PG, and Joel on the floor were awful, right? And I don't mean awful relative to, other stars. They were just bad, period, right? They were straight up bad for three-man lineup combinations in the NBA, which is just...
One of my bold predictions from last year was that the three-man group would be one of the, I think I had a plus 18 net rating.
And what they end up, minus 14 or something like that, minus 12. So it was, I know it was minus and either low double digits or mid-teens, right? So...
And I think I said they would average together 70.
But that's so right. You come in. Oh, here we go.
There it is.
Oh God,
85. I said.
Now
80 points.
80, Kyle said. We were right.
Plus 16. All right, it
16.
wasn't quite as bad as I remembered.
Look
It was
at
bad.
Bree holding us accountable.
No, when I
Bree
requested-
held us more accountable than Doc Rivers ever held any team
There,
accountable.
thank you, Bree. Thank you.
Our guy got fired, Kyle.
Yeah, well, Jamal Mosley out in round 1.
I was going to get on Bree for a brief moment when she brought up my miscue and not yours.
Well, no, those are all three of us
No, I-
smoked that one. Yeah. But yeah, so like, if he is not at least something approaching who we think of when we hear the name
People
Joel
watch
Embiid, he could play 82 games and it won't matter, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it has to be a return to some level of functionality. There has to, and if he doesn't have the endurance, if it becomes a fatigue problem where the knee it swells and there's pain and it's just hard to sustain it over 30 minutes, 32 minutes, whatever it might be, then that's when we come back to the conversations. What should his offensive role be? How heavy should his usage be? How much of his time and energy should be focused on protecting the rim, rebounding the ball, like doing the defensive stuff that these other guys just can't do, right? There are guys who can give you volume scoring. It's not going to be 30 plus points at good efficiency the way that Joel could do at his peak. But a lot of these guys can score. These guys can, shoot, put it in the bucket, drive, draw fouls. Like you can cobble together a functional offense. There is no path to a good enough defense to win games if Joel isn't at least very good.
Yeah. I looked it up. It was a negative 0.9 among that 3-man group. I don't think yeah, it wasn't. It was.
I thought it was much worse than that for some reason.
No, it was very limited minutes, and you just never see Joel in the negative, like ever. There's almost no 2-man or 3-man groups where Joel is in a negative. So it was startling and slightly off from the plus 16 I predicted.
Slightly.
Slightly.
Also, way off from, I don't know where I pulled the, maybe I was thinking
look,
of.
any pessimism that you remember from last year, if that's
I might have been thinking of some
bit,
5-man lineups that maybe that, I don't know. I know it was ugly. And I know they lost a lot of games.
It was definitely ugly.
58 of those, Kyle. 58. All right, we take a final pause here on the show. We come back, and we'll get into one national media member had put together some tiers that we were talking about off the show, and we figured we would, per this conversation.
Oh, that's what it was. But real quick, the most played Joel Embiid lineup. Joel Embiid, Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. Minus 10.6 points per 100 possessions.
That was like the starting lineup for a good chunk. Yeah.
That was the predicted starting lineup.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. All right, so we'll come back. We'll talk about that one media member and the tiers that he put together and where do the Sixers land in that one. And we'll get to a few other things with this Bet365, the totals, the futures for the NBA and specifically the Philadelphia 76ers right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by our good friends who I'll tell you about on the other side. All right, we got to tell you about getting you back to doing what you love, especially this summer. Still a lot of summer left, everybody. Don't take it for granted. Get out there, enjoy yourself. But maybe, you go for that walk or you go for that bike trail and running through the sprinkler with the kids and you just feel a little discomfort and all that and you want to get checked out. That's where Rothman Orthopedic comes in. From aches and pains after pickup games or old injuries that continue to flare up and will not go away, Rothman's team of experts, they are here to help with evidence-based care and a commitment to restoring your mobility. They'll get you back out there stronger than ever. And I am one that talk about this a lot, my injuries with my knee and my ankle, 2 major injuries with Achilles and the ACL. And Rothman Orthopedics was the place for me. It was no doubt about it. When the first one happened with the ACL, I knew immediately where I was going. They fixed me up right, got me back out there, so much so that I was able to play again and I tore my Achilles. But I knew exactly where I was going, and that was Rothman Orthopedics. Made the call, got there quickly as I was going on vacation. I'm like, man, this is going to suck. But no, they made sure that I had a boot on my foot. They made sure I had the crutches. And even if it happened while I was on vacation, after flying to Florida, guess what? They have places in Florida, convenient offices in Florida that you can also go ahead and visit, from, of course, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida. The convenient offices are there for you if, in fact, you do need to check it out. Proudly serving dozens of communities across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida with 30-plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers as well. If pain is slowing you down this season, you got to take the first step. Head to rothmanortho.com/PHLY and schedule your appointment today. Rothman Orthopedics, your summer, your mobility, their mission. Also need to tell you about our good partners here, Cherry Hill Kia. Kyle, I don't know why, but they do it. People do it. I know why you drive them. We just have no idea why.
Kias are quite popular right now. I believe my sister has a nice Kia Telluride.
But we don't know why. They're very nice.
Very nice.
One of our
and
friends
some people buy them elsewhere, but I don't know why they would buy them anywhere except for Cherry Hill Kia.
So if you're looking to be like Kyle's sister, one of our other friends have one. We won't say his name on the show. But if you're looking for the dealership with the most inventory and super low lease payments in the Philadelphia area, KiaofCherryHill.com is the place for you to go. You can choose from over 450 new Kias, including Sportages, K5s, Carnivals, Seltos, Souls, and those Tellurides that Kyle just talked about. I got to tell you, Kia is the hottest automotive brand in the country for a reason. 7 of their models received 2025 Car and Driver Editor's Choice Awards. That's amazing considering there were more than 450 models tested and only 20 models industry-wide received this award. So the offer right now for us is you stop in today. Tell them PHLY sent you and receive a $100 restaurant.com gift card just for taking a test drive or completing a trade appraisal. I know people buy Kias elsewhere. I just don't know why. Drive home in your new Kia today, just minutes from all bridges, or available online 24/7 at KiaofCherryHill.com. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast here on this Thursday, presented by Rothman Orthopedics. Now we got to tell you about some bright smiles. Guys, Bree, we got to tell you about some bright
Shout
smiles.
out to Do That.
Do That Dental, right? And we're going to, the Do That Dental bright smile of the day goes to
Clearly me.
Derek Bodner.
No.
No?
No.
All right,
I'm always smiling.
let's go to the guy.
Mr. Smiles.
The one who's really always smiling. By the way, he was in the gym this morning at like 5:50 this morning, putting out on Instagram that he was on in the gym. And we talked about him yesterday.
Tyrese Maxey.
It is absolutely Tyrese Maxey. The Do That Dental smile of the day, the bright smile, Tyrese Maxey. And we're going to once again let everybody know about his shoe that's dropping tomorrow, Derek, because as I was driving in, we were all driving in, we all saw the same posters around here.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it yesterday. Bam, posters up all around the city as they get ready for the Tyrese Maxey hero drop with his sneakers and all. And he's active on Twitter right now. He's active on Instagram. And those sneakers are going up. So our Do That bright smile of the day is Tyrese Maxey, because those are out there, man. Those are out there, and those are some very nice sneakers. He's going to have an event tomorrow, as Bree posted up there. Look at that photo, everybody. Posted up in the city. They got him up there, the hero pack. You can get the, you can get the ones that he's going to be playing in, and those are the two-way sneakers that he has there. You can check those out, that they're going to be out there and available. Those are dope. They're very comfortable. I do have a pair, everybody, and those are the Hezzy Low V2 Tyrese Maxey player editions with the cool colors, the nice colorway. And Bree had the other ones up there, the 1906 Rs that are also up there, that are also going to be available. And they're going to be available tomorrow, where he's going to have a drop here in the city. And maybe you all can get yourself a pair. So if you're looking at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Tyrese Maxey and New Balance are dropping his hero pack. If you are a Tyrese Maxey fan, which I know plenty of jerseys out there we see with the number 0 on, and the blue or the white or the red, you love Tyrese Maxey. He's got his kicks. They're dropping as well. So go ahead. Bright smile of the day. It's not often, Derek, that you get your own player edition sneaker from your
for me, it's happened exactly 0 times.
0?
So, yeah, it doesn't happen often, and often, I mean, it'll never happen.
I won't say that.
We gotta.
You never know.
You might have some friends in the right place.
Yeah.
Good to work on that.
We might be the first ones that are
the official
podcasters.
If Woj didn't get, he didn't get an official Woj bomb flip flop until he went to St. Bonaventure and was trying to get some NIL money coming in for the Bonnies up there. If Woj didn't have a signature line, I don't think we have much of a
PHLY
chance.
Sixers signature line. We got to get on that.
Yeah, well,
Devon, you're the one with the connections.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
We know some people. I
know some sneaker people. I just am not. I don't have even the audacity to say, "Hey, when's the Kyle Neubeck one coming out?" Never.
So Tyrese Maxey again in the gym.
Congratulations to Tyrese.
Early in the morning, and he's got a Hero Pack sneaker off the court and on the court with New Balance, which is his apparel partnership. Once again, that is the Bright Smile, Do That Dental smile of the day for Tyrese Maxey. All right, let's get back to his team and some of these numbers that are out there. I'll just run through a couple of these real fast, and then we'll get to the tier system that we were talking about from the national guy there. So let's see, to participate in the play-in tournament. Now, we know they're going to participate in play-in tournament. Will they get to Las Vegas right now?
The in-season tournament.
In-season tournament. Sorry. Well, for this one, we'll do
too many tournaments.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll do the play-in, and the play-in is right now. They're at plus 120. So we'll do the play-in. Plus 120, and they're behind the Pacers at minus 125, the Heat at minus 110. They are plus 120 in front of the Bucks and the Celtics for that number. Play in, Derek?
Wait, were we talking play in or in?
Play in. Just play in.
I think they get a top 6 seed. I'm gonna say a 6 seed. I just want to be positive. I want to. Honestly, my range would be like 6, 7, 8. I think that's kind of like the realistic range. So I'm just gonna go to the positive end of that.
All right, there you go. All right. So the Cup group winner. The Sixers are in the group with the Magic, Celtics, Pistons, and Nets. The Sixers, Kyle, currently are behind the Magic and the Pistons. Magic plus 210, Pistons plus 260. The Sixers are plus 275 to win the group.
Yeah, again, it comes back to level of trustworthiness, right? I think Orlando and Detroit, while I don't necessarily believe in the ceilings of those teams, if you're just saying, hey, I think they'll be healthy enough to play 5 games or whatever it is in November and December, then I can understand that. That's all. That's all. These conversations come back to the exact same thing, right? What is your level of trust in the Sixers? And finally, Las Vegas has caught up to where Sixers fans are, which is to say, they have zero trust, and they're not willing to hand it over to them.
It is funny. I feel like the in-season tournament being shifted closer towards the start of the season, you would typically say, like, well, if there's any point in the season where they're going to be healthy, it's then. But also, Paul just had surgery or a procedure, and Joel missed, the first 12 games of the season last year. So,
all right. So I'll throw this one at you for the NBA Cup, and then we'll move on. Who is the Sixer that is the highest to win the NBA Cup MVP? Who is the player?
It's got to be Maxey.
It's got to be Tyrese. Yeah, I would have said Tyrese.
It's Joel Embiid. Plus 3,000 with Franz Wagner.
Real good odds.
With him, Tyrese Maxey is at plus 20,000 for the MVP.
And for reference, so I don't know about NBA Cup. The regular MVP odds, I'm pretty sure the favorites are like plus 200.
Yeah. Well, the highest is plus 350, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, right. It's like Shai, Jokic.
But it's so far behind. Actually, it's Donovan Mitchell plus 900. At plus 1,000, it's both Brunson and Durant. After that is Jokic at plus 1,600. Anthony Edwards and Kawhi Leonard plus 2,000. Luka is plus 2,200.
With all respect to our betting partners, so there's no way I'm betting on NBA Cup MVP. That is like, I would bet on darts players before I bet on the NBA Cup MVP.
No, it is definitely a way more.
And I
volatile.
have bet on darts players just for future reference.
Trust me, after having seen you in Vegas for 2 years, there's no way I thought you pulled that reference out of thin air.
All right, quick. 8th seed in the East is the Sixers at second, tied with the Heat at plus 650. The Pacers are plus 600. Celtics, Bucks behind them with the Raptors at plus 700. Actually, Pistons at plus 800.
Since you mentioned the Heat, can we talk about these tiers from Michael Pena?
Yeah, mix it in.
So Michael Pena from The Ringer, I think this is like a week ago.
Yep.
Within the last week or so.
Last week, yeah.
Put out tiers for the Eastern Conference. First tier, Cleveland, Orlando at 2, which a little bit of like a hipster NBA guy opinion, but you know, whatever.
Also a lot of injury. opinion.
Orlando at 2, New York at 3. Those were the top tier.
And I would swap those two if I'm.
I would put the Knicks higher. I really like Orlando, but it is very much like.
Also, we got a little burned by them last year, so we're probably going to be a little slower on them.
It's just a
this year.
classic smart guy NBA thing. Like, I'm going to put the young team who hasn't proven anything yet way higher. Like, that was me last year.
That's what I mean. We got burned, so we're going to pull back.
So in the second tier by themselves, the Atlanta Hawks, which I don't think I'd put them by themselves.
Not by themselves.
You could convince me on them at 4, but I wouldn't put them by themselves. Now here's where the third tier, which is where the Sixers are at. Detroit at 5. Okay, fair. Like, I think they at least earn a little bit of benefit of the doubt. The Miami Heat at 6 is like, what is that
based on what? Yeah. Spoelstra?
It's like honestly the only reason you would put them there.
Yeah.
They were an aggressively mediocre team last year, and that's probably even being generous. They turned Jimmy Butler into Davion Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins. Am I missing anybody else from that trade?
Kyle Anderson, but he's gone now.
He's gone. Duncan Robinson left. So it's basically just Tyler Hero Bam show. They are the most play-in team there's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Sixers at 7, right below them. The Raptors at 8.
No.
That's what I mean. When I said 6, like I wasn't really making that bold of a prediction, I don't think.
And then in the tier below that, the Bucks and the Bulls. Now, so here's where
Bucks are higher than
I was
the
going to say, the big thing for me is like, this is very much when Bucks fans complain that Giannis doesn't get the respect he deserves. This is exactly it, right? I understand losing Dame and their guard play sucks, and it's Kyle Kuzma, and their big addition is Miles Turner. It's Giannis, dude. Like, he's so goddamn good. Yes. He is consistently one of the 3 best players in the league every single year. They will win as long as he doesn't get hurt or whatever. They'll win 45 to 50 games and be a playoff team. And so, like, putting them at 9 below Toronto and Miami is just... Toronto is the island of misfit toys team. It's like, here's Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and Brandon Ingram and, Colin Murray Boyles, who I love a lot, but now you have to actually shoot or this team will implode. It's just, I don't know. So some weird stuff going on there.
Yeah, so that 8 number, 7 right now. The Sixers, to your point, are plus 600 with the Celtics and the Bucks. That's for the 7 seed. For the 6 seed, to Derek's point, being in the top 6, the Sixers are plus 650, tied with Milwaukee, but behind the Hawks, Celtics, and Pistons, who are all plus 600 right there. I think they also have the Sixers somewhere with the top 5 seed also, which is plus 750, but they're behind 5 other teams in that one. So there's pretty much where they are. Again, they are right there in the middle with that 42, 43 wins, which is basically a 500 team on the season.
The irony of the process, you did it to
right
escape
back at it.
the middle, and look where you've ended up, right smack in the middle.
10 years later, you're right there still in the middle. Or maybe
now it
actually
not. Is 10 years. The funniest part about that rebuild was like, they basically had two and a half, 3 years of like true throwing in the towel. And every year it was like, oh, the Sixers have been tanking for 15 years. Now we're at a decade removed from when that started. So
yeah. Yeah.
It's finally starting to be true.
Well, we'll see what they do. We'll see if they are in that 42 or if they're higher or lower. And who knows what next season will be after what we witnessed this upcoming season. We're not trying to fast forward, of course. We want to see how this one plays out. And it should be a fun one because we have no idea what this thing is going to look like this year. All right, let's get to a few other things here as we go with. We'll jump into the news and notes thing first, Bree, because we want to show the one that you and I communicated about before the show, and one that I know Kyle wanted to talk about on the show.
Uh-oh.
Let's show multiple-time MVP, NBA champion, Nikola Jokic, at home in Serbia, winning. Is having his horse make sure that he won, and he was excited. And
so, like, here's why it really caught me, right? There's always been this thing that's
overjoyed.
Like, he cares about his horses more than basketball. But to see this video, like, his horse wins, he goes to like hug the jockey and the horse. He's like, "Hey, good job, buddy," right? Like, give it a nice smack on the rear. But it really kicks in when the gigantic champagne bottle comes out, and
look how long he's hugging the other. it's like Jamal Murray, man.
Jamal Murray wishes he got this much.
Well, at least he grabbed him and jumped
hands
into
over
the pool.
face, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is my life." So I really need to. I hope this one has the champagne celebration. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah. When he busts out the champagne, so there is a clip that somebody mashed them together.
And that's a big bottle, man.
Of him, like, immediately, he's doing the interview after they just won the title. He's in Denver. The whole crowd is going crazy. And he basically was just like, "I can rest now."
Yes.
It's so funny to watch that next to him, looking like the meme of the guy who's like 15th on the podium, shaking champagne everywhere and dumping it all over the place. It really was just like a remarkable thing to actually see. It's one thing, it's like a meme, like, "Oh, he loves his horses more than..." No, he really does. He really does love the horses more than basketball. Yeah, here it is. We're just waiting for the moment. Yeah, there you go. Shake that big boy. Look at that. All over people. So here's the thing. I have no frame of reference for. He's going crazy. Everybody's getting sprayed by champagne.
This is a guy who you can't beg for him to show any kind of emotion.
Oh,
Just
man.
gotta get him talking about horses.
Honestly, it's a little surprising to me that he hasn't gotten into the horse racing stuff here. Maybe it's just the overhead here is way more to get involved in stuff like the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness and the Belmont and all that. But like, you could do horse racing. I know he loves his home country, obviously, so I'm sure that's part of it too. But so he just won the title and he can't be bothered. That's the craziest. And look, like, I think Eugene and some other people in the chat were expecting me to like go off on him. It's like, there's nothing to mock him for.
It's just funny.
He likes what he likes.
Yeah.
It's just funny that like his job that he's clearly one of the best ever at, he's like, this is just work. He goes home to his Roman chariot horses and he's like losing his damn mind. It's so crazy. So.
What do you think, Derek?
I mean, I'm just happy to see a little bit of personality after him. I think that's great. He found what he is passionate about.
I bet some of it too, from talking to the people in Denver. It's like, he was on camera for the horse stuff in Serbia, but it's not the same as
he's not the focus.
He's not like 16 ESPN, TNT people just like in his face. It's just probably like a couple people filming it, and he feels like he can let loose without it turning into a whole thing. But then it turned into a whole thing.
Yeah. That just
enjoy the horses, brother.
That is his, man.
All right, so in 10 years, when Joel's done playing basketball, because it's going to be 10 years, this is the optimistic show. What do we get a video of him losing his mind about? That's nothing to do with basketball. I feel like
he becomes the #1 FIFA Ultimate Team player ranked on PlayStation.
Okay.
It'd be that, or honestly, it'd probably be like his son.
That's why I was going to go. Arthur did something.
Yeah,
whether it was basketball
something
or soccer or something like that.
Because Arthur's like 5 now?
Yeah, so 10 years, we're talking 15. Yeah.
Playing some AAU hoops.
Yeah.
It's funny for like some guy, the guard size guys, you can at least kind of sneak around if you put a hat on and you go to a gym. I'm imagining Joel in like a high school gymnasium trying to watch his son play basketball and incognito, got like sunglasses on. He's just bigger than everybody else that's there. Not going to work, buddy.
Not going to work. All right.
What other news and notes do we have?
Final one, Jonathan Kuminga. We talked about him a little bit yesterday. With
that wasn't the news and note I was thinking of.
Quentin Grimes conversation.
News and notes
I didn't know if we wanted to go.
You would have bet wrong on that
direction.
one, Kyle.
Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted to go in that direction.
They say life's a gamble.
Yes, it is. Kuminga, of course, not happy with the Warriors. The Warriors seemingly not necessarily thrilled with him as far as what he believes he's worth. And he put out a Instagram post of willing to bet on himself after we saw a number a little bit early. What was it? 3 for 45?
Some other people betting on themselves.
Yeah, 3 for 45.
Kyle cannot wait to get to the next stop if you haven't noticed.
3 for 45.
Roll of the dice, you'd say.
And he feels like the Warriors have stunted his growth.
Well, that's certainly an opinion that you could have. I get it on some level, right? He went to a team as a high lottery pick where he didn't have the chance to be what Derek brought up the other day. Similar to Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey wanted to go somewhere. He was going to have opportunities to play right away, to, be a central figure. And not only is Kuminga not that, they're end of last season, he's out of the rotation entirely, right? Now, there's also the side of it where he's getting offered. The last we heard was 2 for 45. So he's still, albeit on short term and with a team that is not giving him the role he wants, he's still commanding a certain amount of money because there are people who believe he's got untapped upside and, there is a market for him. We've heard teams like Sacramento, Phoenix, Chicago have all been connected to him. But then you also say, you're like, bro, you got to come into a team and win a title in your first year, right? And you're playing with some future first ballot Hall of Fame type players. If you can just figure out how to work alongside them and not think so much about the individual stuff, that stuff will come to you, right? And it's still coming to you just by being like okay at that stuff.
Also, his point is, they held me back. My guy, you're not getting the contract you want, not because you didn't get enough minutes or touches. You averaged like 16 points per game over the last 2 years. You shot 31% from 3-point range over that span. If you make your shots, if you develop as a shooter with your physical tools, with the defense you can provide, you would be getting maybe not the contract you want, but you would certainly be getting better offers currently. So I'm not going to, was it the perfect situation for a guy to come in and showcase, a trajectory towards being a max player, which he probably feels like you could have been on, as a lot of top 10 picks feel like they could have been on, maybe, but you had stuff in your control that you didn't make the most of. You're Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, relax, man. Settle down.
And look, he's had some great flashes. He puts together like a week or two at a time where it's like, oh my God, you really see it. And then he has a week or two where you're like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I think he should go to a team where he can work through that stuff, right? That's the thing. He doesn't get to do a lot of the self-creation and, play through him. It's, you're working through limited opportunities. And I get it. You feel a certain way now that you're at the end of your rookie deal. That's fine. But doesn't look like that opportunity is coming to him unless something changes here.
Yeah. I mean, even with Andrew Wiggins there and ultimately leaving, there was an opportunity for you, and they decided, you know what, he's not ready. Let's go get Jimmy Butler. We need somebody that's a veteran that can play with Steph Curry and Draymond Green going forward, close things out, and he just hasn't done it. And look, I know he's young, and he feels like he hasn't been given enough opportunity to make mistakes, as he said, as we heard about Ace Bailey with the Jazz situation. Well, I mean, listen, man, you're still in a pretty darn good spot, and those guys are not going to be there forever. We're not going to be on television for very long here because we've got all PHLY coming up here.com for the overtime. Thank you on the TV side. Really appreciate it as we head into overtime for the remainder of the show. Quick poll results. 85 votes that Bree put up there for the question of Sixers win total at 42.5, all courtesy of Bet365. Over right now, 69% with the under at 31. 85 votes were tabulated on this one, and that's where we sit at now 70 on 86 votes. 70%, 30% on the under. Surprised? Either one of you surprised by that?
No, I mean, if you can't, Kyle has said this before, if you can't be optimistic about your team in late July, then what are we doing?
It's a bad
here?
sign.
Yeah.
Yep. So we appreciate everybody for participating in the poll that was put up there, and Bree occasionally have those for you on the show. Did you want to do anything about the other one, especially now that we're on?
Well, now we're going to have to do a mini pod on the other thing I actually wanted to talk about today, but we could talk about the Mr. Arenas story that broke this afternoon. That was...
I wasn't sure how much you wanted to get into.
No, I mean, listen, it's... Don't put yourself in a position where you're running illegal gambling rooms. If anyone has not seen the news, the Justice Department put out a whole thing on Gilbert Arenas running an illegal gambling operation out of his mansion with a supposed Israeli criminal or a suspected criminal.
That is
another
insane.
Group of gentlemen. And they not only were running the so they were taking a rake off the game, allegedly. They had women who were, waitresses, but also masseuses and Lord knows what else, according to the statement from the Justice Department. And then I think they had some chefs and some other people. So just had a whole business going, and maybe just don't do that. That would be go to a casino. I don't know.
I am stunned that Gilbert Arenas does not have the greatest judgment in the world.
His decision making.
Upset.
Very interesting.
And again, it comes at a time where he has poor timing. He has emerged as where people like his thoughts on basketball as
which
an
I
analyst,
don't get.
which you don't get, but people do. Of course, with his podcast being very successful, being on ESPN as a guest on First Take and various other shows. And then Kyle and I couldn't remember which one between NBC and Amazon as this whole new partnership is coming together. He was supposed to be one of their new analysts as they got started. And can't imagine, Kyle, Derek, that's going to be the case if he's already, based on the reports we've seen, he's already been arrested.
Right.
So this is bad timing.
Yes.
Bad timing for...
I don't think there's ever good timing
there's not
to
great
get
timing.
arrested
No.
by the feds, too. This wasn't like, hey, the cops heard a loud noise and they made it into your house. This was... He's getting arraigned. This is potential federal. So I hope that people learn some lessons from this. Honestly, have you seen the Netflix doc on the incident with Crittenden back in the day when he was on the Wizards?
I still haven't watched it.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's worth watching. He reveals during this documentary, separate from, sort of related to, but he was essentially trafficking guns from Phoenix to DC because he's a gun collector and doing it on NBA planes. And that is why he believes that the commissioner suspended him for the rest of the year, not because of what he did, but because they found out about that. And that was a potential major crime that was being committed. So another instance of questionable judgment, we'll say. And that's from Gilbert Arenas directly.
That goes a tiny bit beyond questionable, I would say.
This is straight from his mouth. He said this on the documentary. He's like, I think it's far enough removed. I can say this now. I think whoever he was, I don't know if it was his, I believe he said the dad of a girl he was dating was a big gun collector, and Gilbert got into it and was like, hey, I want to get these. And that was how he facilitated the whole, it was a wild story. worth watching it. It's called Shooting Guards, I believe, on Netflix. Which good job
Elite
on the title.
Yeah.
So interesting guy. I'll put it that way.
Yep. So not a good look for Gilbert Arenas. Not a good look at all for Gilbert Arenas on this one. So
apparently, he's on 3
that.
counts according to it said maximum of 5 years per count for all the people involved. So one of them and I said to Devon before the show, I think the big mistake among the many mistakes here was that he also got a count of lying to federal investigators. So even if you were in the headspace of this is a guy with money who can afford good lawyers and he's well known, like a lot of times the system will work in your favor. Once you then lie to the federal investigators, they're not as likely to be like, hey, you know what? I'll look the other way a little bit.
I just want to know who in that friend group snitched. Now, granted, it wasn't a small circle. Like as you're bringing up, like they're hiring masseuses and chefs.
Once
and
you get
that
all
stuff.
these like employees of this illegal business, it just takes one of them to say, you're not treating me right. And then they just tell the wrong person. And so
again, if I were going to be running an illegal gambling ring, which I never would, but I'd keep that group small specifically
like OJ
for
over
this
there.
reason.
If I did it,
Yes.
Remember when he tried to write that book?
Oh, of course.
yes.
You got it.
Oh man.
All right.
Anyway,
Yeah. Gilbert Arenas, not good. Not good at all.
turn the lights down for Gilbert Arenas.
Turn the lights down for Gilbert Arenas. Man, darkness. That could be some real darkness for Gilbert Arenas. All right, folks, that'll do it for us here on this Wednesday. We have one more show with Kyle as Kyle hits vacation after
day
tomorrow's
early.
show.
I'm getting out here on a Friday.
Yes, Bree too, right? Bree, you out of here?
Hell yeah.
She said, "I'm sick of you."
I'm gone.
So
We're making the most of that overtime.
All four of us together one more time this week, and that is tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Derek and I will be here on Friday with someone else producing the show in place of Bree. So one more show with all of us together.
Bree and I are going
tomorrow.
back to Vegas to win back our money that we lost at 3 a.m. at the roulette table.
So
3 a.m. the night or the morning of their flight, by the way.
The details aren't important here.
So let's get to the world famous roll call on this Wednesday.
I don't even know if we can do it, Devon, because YouTube is acting up.
Well, we just do it
today.
on Avatar, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it's real easy for the guy who doesn't have to do it over there. Like, yeah,
5G.
just recognize everyone's avatars.
Nona, Marcus Blackstock.
Mr. Sandman, my girl Winona,
Hey, Nona.
Marcus, Papas.
What up, Mark?
Who is E. Ross? Who could
What up,
that
Gene?
be? What's up, Eugene? Good seeing you last night, buddy.
Absolutely.
Sixers Babe 07. I think that might be Jess.
That's Purple Heart.
It
Yeah.
looks like Jess
Babe
with the Purple Heart.
07. Okay.
Money Mar stays the same.
What up, Mar?
We know we can count on Money Mar.
Gilbert
You
Arenas
done
needs
messed
you, man.
up.
You done
Hey,
messed-
Aaron. You know who done messed up?
Yes, I do.
Gilbert Arenas.
Yes, I do.
D Flyers. Hello to D Flyers.
What up, D Flyers?
I believe that's Joaquin, who goes by Doing Cigs. So Joaquin smoking heaters on his break. What's up to
I do
Joaquin?
feel like we need
What
the
up,
chat to
Joaquin?
come up with like odds of which one of us would be involved in the gambling ring, because I feel like it's an easy Kyle on that one.
I'm out. And I'm not
I'm not
the
saying
one
the odds are
telling.
high.
No comment.
I'm just saying the
No
highest.
comment.
And I'm
Greeny
not telling.
Green. We got the court jester, and I'm trying to figure out who that is.
Everybody, won't you just say your name in
That
your
would be helpful.
avatar, and that would
Music
be helpful.
Lover 31, moms, grandchildren.
Hey, Mom.
As always. What's up to Mom? Maybe she'll be on the down low because I don't. Maybe her government name is on there. She wants to.
Actually, I don't know. I haven't
knows?
seen it, so I don't even know if
The
it's
bull
on there.
RJ stays the same. What's up,
What up, RJ?
Martian Lynch. I feel like I haven't seen our good buddy Martian as
up,
much.
Martian?
recently.
Hey, Aaron, hope he's feeling better.
Hey, well, he was you done messed up.
Yes, it was.
Neil Deaver, Hedva,
Hey, Heffa.
Jeffrey Stewart,
What up, Jeff?
Showdown Will.
Sure,
I think that's just Will.
Is that Will?
I
Should be
believe
Will.
so.
What up, Will?
Looking for a showdown with hopefully not one of the people being indicted in an illegal gambling operation. Anyway, enough of the roll call for
What
today.
up, everybody?
Hello to everybody.
We
Goodbye to
appreciate it.
everybody. We got James in here. Hello to James.
What up, James?
Everybody on the
What up,
way
Ed?
out, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And hit the thumbs up button to say
That's a good
thank you
Like
to
a pizza is ready.
at super producer Bree
At Super
27,
Producer Bree 27.
whatever her YouTube name
Yeah, Super
might
Producer
be.
Bree
Hit that
Vacation.
thumbs up button to say thank you to
Hell
Bree
yeah.
for holding it down on the back end. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. It'll be the last day of all of us here for the week. Look forward to seeing you then. Who knows what we'll talk about, but we'll see you 3 o'clock either way. Goodbye.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.